Welcome to the 5th episode of the Otafest Podcast. I'm Jay.
I'm Alfred.
Hey, it's G again.
Hi, my name is John.
What the heck?
Who the hell is John?
I broke in. You guys just didn't kick me out. I just figured I'd sit down and sit in
Jay,
front
did
of
you
the
let
mic.
the special guest in?
I did let the special guest in.
Wait, you guys invited me, but then you're going to keep me outside the whole time?
Yeah, I know, right?
Sometimes
Yeah.
we do that.
It's our bad.
That window doesn't
actually,
look like it opens. How am I supposed to scream into the microphone from there?
It's a good filter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who we've got here today is Proton Jon. He's very well known. Well, he's well known.
I'm known by you three.
people.
I'm
He's
known
well
by you
known by
three.
people as a Twitch livecaster. He's also very active with YouTube posting and group collaborations for Let's Plays. And he's a local Calgary kid. Are you born and raised here?
No, God,
No?
no.
Where
I'm from Newfoundland.
Oh, gosh.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Canada. This is Canada. Why? He's a national guest. I
East
told you.
Coast and West Coast. Look at that.
We flew him in on
It was really expensive buy, I'm telling you what.
bottom of bottle screech.
No, I'm supposed to give that to you guys to screech you in. That's how it works.
Oh
So.
God.
You got to kiss the cod and you
Because
got
that's
to
what
drink the
Newfies
screech.
want is an East Indian dude and two Asian guys.
To be fair, it was one of those things when we first met back in the day. It was like, is this a real thing?
Yeah, I had to like show you a website with like the list because I thought there were only two things you were supposed to do. It was kiss the cod and drink the screech. But then there's like, there's also eat hard bread. There's like 5 different things you can do.
We're getting a whole new demographic right now. They're like, I understand these references.
So what's this anime thing, huh?
Yeah.
Now
I just
what we
want to
need
point
is a
out.
Newfie anime.
Yeah, we need an anime about fishing.
I would watch that.
Yeah,
I mean,
would
I'm
watch the
surprised
crap
there
out of
isn't
that.
one already.
Yeah, there's always cooking, like
Well,
not cooking,
there
but
was,
like preparing
fall
fish, but not
anime preview.
actual
We actually
fishing.
there was a fishing anime or something.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Is it like
There's
King of the River?
There's so many different kinds of shitty anime because it's like the sport. No, it's because the sports anime.
It
like
can't be good. It's about fishing.
Well, no, it's a sports like anime genre has heated up. So basically, like anything that's considered a sport now is like, how do we make money off of this gay? Like it has to be gay sports.
No, it was like it was a bunch of anime schoolgirls who went to an academy on how to like patrol the seas and.
Oh
fish
yeah,
and
that's
stuff.
right.
No,
That's right.
Wait, what?
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
Long
wait.
story short.
Long story short.
Watch
Anyways,
the
Were they
anime.
fighting pirates?
Oh,
something like that.
That's probably
something
like
that.
the evil villains of
yeah.
Pirate.
This episode is brought to you by Otafest Convention, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. I'm sure you all know about it, but we're gonna tell you more about it anyways, whether you like it or not. And we have some news.
Yeah, I'll just so we've announced a couple of guests already. We have our J-Rock band in. They're going to be No God. They're a Japanese visual kei heavy metal band. They were formed in 2005. And we have Dancho on vocals, Kairi on guitar, Shino on guitar, Karin on bass, and Kei on drums. So check those guys out. Other guest announcements, Justin and Ali Speed, aka Drunk Gaming. I'm not really sure what their YouTube channel is.
They have Drunk Gaming. Ali Speed has her own channel
Ali
as
Speed's
well.
got her own channel. Drunk Gaming is actually like on Ali's channel.
Yeah.
So they're American YouTubers who focus on everyday life vlogs and their Let's Plays of playing video games while completely hammered. And
Which is like, it's not really a genre so much as a state of mind, but it is pretty entertaining.
They're amazing. Their Destiny episode was really good. Their Call of Duty episode was incredible. Oh my god, their Black Ops 3 episode was so good. And Justin Curry, aka Chasing Artwork, he's the creator of the graphic novel Cassie and Tunk, best known for fantasy genre artwork with a focus on robotic reimaginings of classic characters. So those are our guests. Pre-registration is still available at $55. The price of the door will be $60. So you can pick that up at Calgary Comic and Entertainment Expo between April 28th and May 1st or online. If you do visit us at these events, though, the pre-reg avoids the service fee. And we also, speaking of CCEE, we have an entry in Calgary Expo's Parade of Wonders. So you should sign up with your group, show off your magnificent cosplays, and
Walk 2 miles.
Walk 2 miles down downtown Calgary, represent Otafest.
I don't think there's ever been like bad weather for the Parade of
Honestly,
Wonders.
I think it's always been good weather for that.
It's just early. I think you have to be there at like 7 a.m. or something.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It's a really early event, but because it's more of a pedestrian parade, like there's not really cars, or there are some, but I mean like there's not really cars or wagons, or like, you know, they're not including fire trucks and stuff like that.
Right.
So I always wondered what happens if it did rain because it'd just be like a bunch of people under umbrellas in like some kind of like funeral procession.
Everyone will jump into the DeLorean that's there every year. They'll just try to drive off.
Exactly. They're like, fuck this.
And then you realize the best cosplays are all the ones with the umbrellas.
Should do like a neon Blade Runner cosplay. One more little announcement just about the hotels. Some people were having trouble booking hotels for the Thursday night of Otafest.
Yeah, at the Marriott.
At the Marriott. We've negotiated with the Marriott. They released a few more rooms for Thursday night, so you should be able to pick up more rooms for that night.
And I believe if you're having any issues, if you're not interested in booking Thursdays, half the issue was because we had Thursdays full. So I believe you can select other days as part of the package or something like that now. But yeah, you'll have to check the Marriott website for further updates and kind of see what we have announced on Facebook as well.
Yeah. So once again, if you want to follow the Otafest Facebook group, most of our announcements will be there. We also have our Twitters. Our many Twitters.
Yeah. Well,
our many mascots. So yeah.
But let's move on.
What is our topic today? We have a Let's Player here. So
we have a Let's Player. So we're going to talk about how to
Politics.
make gaming great again.
No, let's not go down that.
And we're derailed.
Goodbye. But yeah, like Let's Plays, obviously, John is really, really well versed in kind of like the community and how everything kind of works in there. I think a few of us have dabbled.
Yeah, I kind of tried. I didn't really publish any of them. So
I'm gonna say that dedication, like John, you've been in it for years.
John's
like
a first gen.
I guess I'm considered first gen, maybe technically second. I don't know. Because the first gen technically people didn't do video; they did screenshots.
Yeah.
So it went from screenshot Let's Play to video Let's Play, and then I jumped in at that point. So.
Yeah, it's been.
Well, I mean, that was a good point to jump into.
You know. I don't know. I remember I did it during university, like was it second, third year?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And back then, like, it was still a fairly small thing. Like, not a lot of people.
Because I remember you guys gave me shit about it all the time.
Okay,
the name of
shit
like,
because we're your friends.
the name of the like genre wasn't even existent yet.
Oh no, Let's Play as a name originated from something awful.
Yeah.
It actually originated from the screenshot ones.
Yeah,
right.
The one that we remember being earliest, we can't prove it's the earliest, was like an Oregon Trail one. Which
God, that one.
Yeah, so it was
legendary.
actually Let's Play.
Yeah.
That's why the name made sense, because he would like, all right, I need instructions on what to do at this point. He would pause and then continue with whatever the vote was. So that was when the name actually made sense.
Yeah, like collaborative nature and whatnot.
That's what it was supposed to be, and then it just kind of became this whole thing altogether.
Yeah.
Which is now an actual aspect of convenience for a lot of people. Because there's a lot of games out there that some people may find more difficult than other games.
Or you just don't necessarily like. It's a good preview. I use it for previewing games that I'm not really much of a guy who like. I ignore hype a lot, so I won't buy a game right at the outset. I will watch, maybe half an hour's worth of whatever, and kind of make my decision off those. Like trailers don't really tell you a lot, right?
Yeah.
So you get a lot of insight into how a game feels. But there are that's the positive side of it. There are some negatives, of course. Like there's some news recently about how some indie developers.
Yeah, it was that Dragon Cancer is the one that came up recently.
Yeah, that one
Which
hurt them a lot.
Yeah, but that makes sense because that Dragon Cancer, there's really only one way to experience that game.
It's such a narrow storytelling
with
method,
like a
unfortunately.
super focused narrative. Yeah,
it's not that it's a bad game.
Yeah,
but once you've watched it, you've played it.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's
and
the problem.
unfortunately, that's one of those experiences that it happens, and those types of games. Yeah, I do realize that they don't take the advantage of Let's Plays so much as your other games like Call of Duties, where it's all action. Your Dark Souls, which is hilarious, watching people die all the time.
Oh my god, yeah. It's just endless death.
Yeah, it depends on how open the game is. That's why Minecraft is probably the most Let's Played game right now, because you can have so many different
I think there's a strong competitor for it right now in terms of like it still has like a stronghold, but I think the number 2 game is probably like Mario Maker right now. Mario Maker has it's got endless replay essentially, right?
Which is funny because I technically cut my teeth on like Mario ROM hacks for
Yes.
years.
Yeah.
Oh
and
yeah.
then
Kaizo
I was like, I'm so sick of this. I need to play other games and got away from it.
Yeah.
And then like now that Mario Maker's back, everyone's like, you should do it again. But then I look online and like 30 million people are doing it. I'm like, why bother?
Yeah. Like it's hard to bring something really new to that experience.
Yeah, I mean,
But
there's
and I can
only,
we can
like-
understand like you've already been there, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's
I'm already jaded from it as it is.
well, yeah, and the thing is though, people are kind of rediscovering the whole like Mario ROM hack thing through Mario Maker though, because effectively what Mario Maker is just like Lunar Magic, right?
Yeah, but no,
Like the
what
game.
what it is Kaizo Simulator. Like,
Yeah,
it's-
that's true.
it-
Like,
yeah.
the whole point is
They
people-
saw Kaizo, they're like, we can make money off this.
we can make worse than that. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, basically. We can rely on the sadistic nature of
I mean, they have
entire-
save states. We'll give them maybe a checkpoint a couple months after the game's out.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
god! I think that was the absolute worst part about Mario Maker when it first came out. 90% of the stuff you saw that was released was Kaizo level type stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it wasn't like maybe nearly as difficult as Kaizo was, but
Yeah.
it was like on that level.
There's some
of-
really clever stuff.
Speaking of which, though, okay, like just for listeners who may not be aware, what is a Kaizo level?
Kaizo, I forget what the actual translation is.
I think
we
it's asshole.
It is
in-
asshole.
in
Okay.
Japanese.
Asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was like the what we assumed it was at that point. But basically, it was a ROM hack of Super Mario World made by a guy who wanted to challenge his friend to see. He said he was too good at Mario, so he wanted to give him the hardest game he could make.
Mm-hmm.
And around 2008,
Yeah,
that
about
sounds
2008,
right.
2008.
2008,
Yeah.
a bunch of us in North America got a copy of it because it started gaining notoriety, and we played through it. Like 3 or 4 of us played through it, and then there was one video I did.
Yeah.
Is that actually? Yeah, asshole Mario. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a playthrough of it, and I did a specific stage blind. I think it was like special stage 2.
It was
something
special
like that.
stage 2.
It was a stage where
Yeah,
you had
Jesus
100
Christ.
seconds to get through this maze.
Yeah.
100 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Quote everything at it. I'm jaded to it at this point. And then at the end of it, like, if you had to trigger a switch, otherwise Mario would do the victory walk, and then he'd walk into like a lava pit and die, and then you had to do the entire stage over. And I didn't know that at the time because I did a blind, so it was just like this.
Like,
Freak
I mean,
out.
Yeah.
So like that's gained notoriety for a lot of people.
You have
And
you
that's-
have a TV tropes entry.
Yeah, I think that's actually one of my most viewed videos at like 2 million views.
Yeah. That's
good.
Quite
It's
easily, yeah.
good. It's good. It was pretty viral.
Like, we can understand just definitely not really wanting to get back into it.
Yeah,
But I mean, like,
you can
you've
only
experienced
take-
everything that you need to experience already.
Basically, yeah. Like there's only like so many ways you can get
Yeah.
someone in that game, and I
Have you watched any?
I have I've done a little bit of streaming of Mario Maker, and then I've
Yeah.
watched a ton of Mario Maker. So.
Yeah, like I mean, it's
And,
not
yeah.
exactly the same. There's, like I said, there's some. What's really nice about it is it's not all asshole levels, right? It's there's some really nice, clever ones where like there's a couple of mechanisms. It's almost like they made it into a difference engine, kind of like they do calculations and shit.
Yeah.
You can do those auto plays, which they look
Those,
really cool.
those were
visually.
super popular. The automatic playing stages.
yeah, no,
I think
I've
some of the
seen-
best ones I've seen are the puzzle levels.
Yeah, those
Yeah,
are
puzzle
cool.
levels
Yeah.
are cool.
Yeah.
Well, those are amazingly
But,
well done.
but there's like
Recreations of
the
levels.
group I hang out with are always into like the hard, challenging stuff. So there's a guy who was making, I think his name was Pangia or something like that. He made a Mario ROM hack called like the hardest or Item Switch 3, Item Abuse 3. That's the one he's famous for. But he made stages that took him 10 plus hours to beat
Jesus.
himself. And it involves stuff like jumping off of P switches and then jumping off the switch in midair above lava, throwing a shell, bouncing the shell off a wall,
Yeah.
bounce off the shell,
Oh
but
my
make sure you
God.
spin jump as well because you have to hit like on
Yeah,
top of
you
a
need to-
thwomp, and then
yeah.
like he streamed the entire experience of making the stage and then trying to clear it, and he does these for multiple stages, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I actually remember seeing that at one of those levels, and it was just nuts. Like, just the sheer amount of skill you needed just to pull that off was just mind-boggling.
Yeah, no, actually, like that's the thing about the older like ROM hacks though, is like there was a lot more skill intensive versus like Mario Maker's got a lot of those mechanisms
I mean,
sort of built in for you. I
The
think.
real thing with ROM hacks though was you could save state.
Yeah,
So you
exactly,
could get
yeah,
like
yeah.
you can make progress and then like, all right, cool, I don't have to worry about that anymore. You can't do that in Mario Maker, even with a checkpoint, because you only get 2 checkpoints per stage.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's true. Did you watch the? Wait, did you? I think you called in during the Mario Maker race during AGDQ, or you donated.
What? No, it was during the Kaizo 1 run.
Oh, right, right,
last
right.
year
Oh,
I
yeah,
donated
okay,
during
okay.
it.
Yeah,
I missed the Mario Maker race, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I don't even think I was home during that.
that was
Home.
really awesome.
It's
That was
that's
awesome.
some great stuff.
Yeah.
I guess that's a really big plus though, is like being able to create things on the fly and have people play it out live is
Yeah.
like it's not really so tapped into as a presentation method, but there's some real benefit in there. Like for again AGDQ gets some really good benefits out of that. Anytime anyone wants to do a speed run or anything, like just show mechanics of the game.
Yeah, no, I
it's
think
really
I think Mario Maker is probably the strongest like experience you can get on the Wii U. Honestly,
Really, like even over Splatoon. And
Splatoon is I'd probably give that a very very close second.
Yeah.
But I feel like the replayability of Mario Maker is there because there's already
that's
like
true.
what's the number I even heard last time? Over 5 million stages or 5 billion? There's like an insane amount of stages already on their servers.
Insane amount.
I mean, there's a lot of crap stages as well.
Yeah,
Oh, of course.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
game is-
that's a given. But I mean, that's the
Yeah.
thing, though. You are given the opportunity to release anything as long as you can beat the stage yourself. Mind you, there are people who've cheated that system
Yes.
with creating
Here's a door.
workarounds.
Here's a secret door.
Yeah.
Here's a secret whatever.
secret ways to
Dev
finish the level.
Doors, I think, is the joke name now.
Yeah.
Is Dev
Yeah.
Door.
I guess it makes sense though.
Yeah.
Then there was a little experience for a while where people figured out how to make invisible platforms.
Oh, I
Yeah,
hadn't
there
heard
was
about
there was a
that.
glitch in the game where like if like you put a cloud there and then you put something else there, or a block there and then you deleted both and then it would still be a platform.
Oh.
So I remember one dude did something really cool with it. He remade the ending to Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Oh,
awesome.
really?
Or sorry, Last Crusade.
Yeah.
So it was like you had to do like the Jehovah puzzle. You had to do
Oh.
like dodge the
Oh,
saw.
that's awesome.
Well,
And
they've
then
done
Leap
like
of Faith.
recreation. Like I mean, obviously that's for a movie, but they've done like recreations for lots of other little games as well. Like
I've seen like Undertale boss fights recreated in Mario Maker.
Jesus.
Oh, I have not seen that.
Yeah, no, it's like someone has recreated like the Sans fight. And
the Bone Zone.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
So
Someone recreated that in Duck Game. Now that's fun.
yeah, no,
So-
I've seen Duck Game. I saw Donkey play it, and that was like the funniest thing. So speaking of which, do you really collaborate with other Let's Players?
It depends. I've got a group channel I do right now.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
that's called the Runaway Guys. I do that with
okay.
Chugga Conroy and Nintendo Capri Sun.
Oh, okay.
So the three of us, we basically get together every couple of months. We do a bunch of recordings, and every now and then we like bring a guest in, or we at a convention we do kind of like a tournament where we'll get like a bunch of different guests in. And like I think the last one we did was for Smash 4. We had JonTron in there for a little bit. We had Smooth McGroove. Trying to think of who else off the top of my head. We had
I
a
have
bunch
to
of-
say, just a quick thing, JonTron and Proton Jon. Is that
Dude,
how often?
Very often. I'll always get people. It's funny because at first when John was starting, like
Yeah.
people will get us confused, but it'd be like positive for me.
Yeah.
Be like oh like the pro like because he would do bad games and I was doing bad games at the time too.
Yeah.
So it was just like oh man, it's like I loved your Aquaman video. I'm like what are you talking about?
You're like, oh, thanks.
And
bro.
then- and
can you sign
then,
this for
like-
me? Not JonTron.
And then like it flipped around and then like he shot up like crazy after Game
well, yeah,
Grumps.
because Game Grumps.
Yeah, and then like his videos are really funny too. So it'd always be the other way around. Like people would be like, "Oh man, you're not JonTron," and then be like upset. Like I actually had, like I got asked to be on like the co-optional podcast once, and they were like, "This is not JonTron. I'm not listening."
oh,
So yeah, like you get dissed pretty bad when someone's got a similar name. So
but it's just like that's
Yeah, but you
it's
came
an
first.
unfortunate thing.
yeah,
and you
it
came first.
depends on who you ask. Because I remember when he got popular, I had people coming on my videos being like, "Hey, why are you taking his name?" I'm like, "Look at the fucking registration date, idiot!
Yeah.
God."
Yeah.
No, I'm like you have every right to be annoyed, but I'm sure that he's a good guy. And
Oh,
you
no,
guys,
he's a really nice
yeah,
dude.
like you guys are both classy about it. It's just unfortunate that the internet doesn't give a shit.
I mean, that's just the way things are on the internet in general. They'll give you crap about like the weirdest.
I'm
things.
starting another group called Game Slumps and Cock
We-
Teeth.
We on Runaway Guys, we played through Sonic Adventure recently.
Yeah.
We recorded it almost a year ago, and then we put it up. I want to say that was like August, September, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But between us recording it and posting it, Game Grumps also played through the entire
Oh,
game.
no.
Oh no.
So our fan base was like, "We don't want to watch this. Game Grumps already did this," and like the entire way through it, people were comparing it to Game Grumps. We're like, "Oh man, they did this so much better than the Game Grumps." Like, "Oh, they did this stage so much faster." It's like, "Oh, they're going so slow. They're worse than the Grumps." It just like depend. It was just comparison
That's got
central,
to be pretty endless. Like,
pretty much.
yeah.
Unfortunately, it's the internet for you, man.
Yeah.
You're going to be compared against somebody.
I know.
regardless.
Well, it's media in general. Like
Yeah.
the internet sucks because you get instant like replies to what you've done. But I mean, it's media in general. Like if something like that happens in any other kind of medium, it'll be compared.
Well, no,
just
it's plus.
so,
I think that like Let's
so
Play,
obvious
the
here.
Let's Play format has like exploded the last couple of years just because of how easy it is to.
Yeah,
To,
the entry bar is super low.
yeah,
for
yeah,
starting.
yeah. I mean, like,
but the commitment level is astounding.
I mean, if you
gotta say.
actually want to make something out of your channel, and it's like the bar is super high now because it's such
Yeah.
a cluttered market. So that's
Yeah.
the thing.
You definitely have to have that hook
Yeah,
to
that
pull
have that
people
hook.
in.
Or with some people, like you have to do like the exact same thing that's already popular.
Right.
Like
So-
a lot of people mimic PewDiePie, and I
Yeah,
mean, for some people it
exactly.
actually
Oh, Lord.
works.
Yeah.
So what's our statistics on that, Jay? We actually have some statistics on people watching Let's Plays and stuff.
Well, from what we gathered, we kind of looked at a couple of infographics that gathered like bits of information from a bunch of different sources, and it turns out that there's about 500 million gamers worldwide, or I guess gamers is probably the wrong word because it can be a general audience.
Yeah,
as well.
I know some people who actually don't play video games but only watch them on Twitch.
And that's totally fine.
Right.
Yeah,
honestly,
nothing
because
wrong
it
with
is
that,
like
yeah.
it's a performance medium as well, right?
Right, yeah.
So anyone can watch. It's like watching reality TV shows and crap like that.
Yeah.
It's all the same. But like they're saying about 100 million people, I guess, in North America alone really watch, but that's actually
Wow.
not the small. That's actually one of the smaller demographics. If you look at the worldwide demographics, in Europe there's 116 million, and in Asia and Asia Pacific, which is not really surprising, there's almost 200 million, basically like people who watch Twitch, YouTube,
And that doesn't even
uh,
include like esports broadcasts on like this.
esports is a whole other beast
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
true.
Well,
Yeah.
to be fair though, in Asia there was a whole huge esports type market, and StarCraft and stuff like that was really big, so people watched that
Yeah.
even
Oh
way
man,
back in the
those
day
StarCraft
too.
days.
Well, no, like
Counter Strike
well,
is a big one as well. Still,
League is like broadcast
League.
on like Korean TV.
Yeah,
So
I mean that
TV.
StarCraft was first. Remember?
StarCraft
Yeah.
was first. Yeah.
There,
Yeah.
there was a StarCraft channel where
Yeah.
all they
Yeah.
did was play StarCraft all day long.
Yeah.
But no, like Alfred's definitely right with like League is taking over, like and Dota of course, and you know
Yeah.
they've got those huge cash prizes, and it's a legitimate event as any
Yeah.
Yeah.
athletic sport or anything like that. So
I mean, the Halo World Championships were aired on ESPN2, I think.
Yeah, they were,
or is that Dota that's going on ESPN2 now?
I think it's
I don't know.
I think it's
Dota
Dota.
was-
Well, it
Yeah,
might,
you're
might have
right,
been both,
though.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, basically, ESPN has picked up a package where they're doing esports in general. I don't
Yeah,
know if
actually,
they're-
I've heard about that. Yeah.
Oh, Rocket League. Rocket League's starting up.
Oh yeah,
a
Rocket League's
competitive
got its
league.
own league now.
Wait, Rocket League's getting a league?
Yeah,
I know. Believe
right?
it or not.
Sorry, before it was just Rocket League, but now it's Rocket League.
Did you know Donkey has a new League video? You should go watch it.
Oh no.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, we talked about it earlier as well. There's a lot of positive things about how Let's Plays kind of present the genre. However, like there's like you gotta take the good with the bad with it. Like we were talking about that Dragon Cancer,
Yeah.
which is for people who don't know, it's an indie dev game that it's it's been well reviewed, but essentially it's kind of similar to Firewatch in a lot of ways, where it's basically just a narrative storytelling game, which is really narrow. And I think the biggest thing with that Dragon Cancer was that they were talking about lawsuits.
Oh,
Or
I did
something.
not hear that part.
I think this is something that came up with them because they were basically saying like you took all of our game, like essentially like there is no other way to experience this game other than
Playing it.
like no
Yeah.
but the playing it is just it is almost just watching it. They're saying that like I haven't
Oh,
played it,
okay.
but
I
there's
see-
like
I see-
there's
I see what you mean.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's-
like you
there
know the
are
actual
gameplay-
story of the game.
Yeah,
right?
there's small gameplay elements, but again, it wasn't enough to differentiate
Yeah.
the experience for pretty much anybody. So again, once you watched it, you've played it essentially. So they felt like you almost took the entire content away. It's almost like reproducing a movie.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
actually
Right?
kind of interesting. Like, especially with the recent trend of games with like story based, like Telltale games and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
there's quite a few.
Like,
But I mean, Telltale games, you still have like there's
Telltale has
choices and-
choice and variety at least.
yeah,
but
but I
Dragon
mean-
Cancer was like as linear as you can get. Right?
yeah,
Yeah,
but I mean,
exactly.
the thing is though, you can do like YouTube annotations and stuff, right? Where you can like click on a choice during a cutscene and it'll take you somewhere, right? Like, I mean, my girlfriend recently played through Until Dawn, right? And like, just barring the quick time events and all that, right? Like, you could effectively play the game on YouTube.
Yeah,
right?
no, like games like that and Heavy Rain, you can kind of do something.
Yeah,
similar
exactly,
to that.
right? So I mean, there's a bit of a point there to be made, right? Like the fact that we're at like video games, they've become such an expansive medium where you can actually, you have games there where it's just point and click, right?
Yeah, and I can see like again, it's not against so much like the Let's Play genre as it is just like it's an unfortunate truth of if you present something
Right.
that doesn't that normally has like a lot of branching or an individualized experience, but if you take away that kind of customized experience and you present a linear storyline and you call it a game, which is totally, it's still fine, it's fair.
That kind of
just
opens up a new can of worms. Like, are these games actually games, right?
Exactly, because you
I guess
see
it could be
them,
like a
they're
visual novel.
They're more like visual novels, or they're very akin to movies, where basically you sit and you watch the experience. And there's a reason why movies are not allowed on like stuff like YouTube and stuff like that, because of the whole reason. If you watch the movie on YouTube, then there's
You've
no
seen
reason.
the movie.
You watched the movie, right?
Yeah.
You have no reason to go out and buy the movie and whatnot. It's kind of with these types of games, it's kind of the same deal. But since they're called games, people get away with it.
Yeah, people treat it differently. And I feel like That Dragon Cancer is a bit of an outlier because it's also got like a real personal thing to the actual developer too, because it's about like his son dying.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So that like also hits home even harder. So imagine like this memory he's made for his son is basically being abused online.
Yeah, they were saying they made like basically no money, and it's not like I have a feeling that obviously for him it wasn't necessarily about the money. Like like he from what I saw about the press release that they issued, they were saying like money was a part of it because it has to be. You know, you put in money developing and you know people have livelihoods to upkeep, right?
Exactly.
But like a lot of it was about sharing the experience, but it hurt them a lot still because like they were saying like they essentially made no money from the initial was it
It was a Kickstarter?
no but I mean, who covered it? I think it was, I want to say it was PewDiePie, but I can't remember.
Total
No.
There's actually a bunch of
played
people
through the
who
whole
actually
thing. You
played
mean?
through it.
Yeah,
okay,
like
yeah.
a lot of people.
Oh, okay.
I remember one of the big things people were complaining about was that some people actually put the game up without any like talking over it.
Oh,
So it was
okay.
literally
Oh,
just the
okay.
game.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
a bit
well,
different.
that's like
Yeah.
that's more on the presenter side of things.
Yeah,
though,
I know a
whereas,
lot
like,
of the bigger YouTubers who did cover the game, such as like Jacksepticeye, PewDiePie, and those guys. They always put their own input in there, and they don't just sit there and just like, here's a
that
game,
because it
Yeah.
becomes more of a review at that point, which is nice as well.
Exactly.
But-
But I mean, when they're playing through it, they put in their own experiences, how it's affecting them, and I mean, they put their own emotion into it as well. How like when
But
something
you're not-
happens,
Yeah, when you don't put in that when you don't have that input, that personal touch, it can be really devastating, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
because you literally just you've turned the game into a movie and you've just released it.
Yeah.
I mentioned Firewatch. Has anyone played it?
I've seen footage of it.
I've played the beginning of it. I unfortunately couldn't get through it. Just it didn't draw me as much as I had hoped.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, can I do a quick spoiler alert? I'm gonna do a quick spoiler alert.
Okay.
I don't know why I asked.
You're going to
To be
spoil the
honest.
game.
A little bit was just like, it's just that when G was saying like it's not like it didn't draw you in, I kind of understand that. Like it's deceiving. The game is not as deep or as imaginative as it could be, essentially.
Right. Yeah, a lot of reviews kind of criticize the ending and like stuff for that. But I mean,
Yes, like that's a big thing, and that's really unfortunate because it is a narrative based game as well.
But I mean, like indie games nowadays are just kind of embracing the whole. Okay, it's an experience. It's not just like about the story. It's not just about the gameplay and stuff, right? So I don't know. It kind of fits into that whole indie
Gameplay
game.
has to be a part of it. Like
Yeah.
that's why it's a game,
Well, yeah,
as
but-
opposed to a movie. Like
Yeah,
John here doesn't go like, I'm gonna watch. Like I'm not gonna watch Batman versus Superman and talk over it and be like, ta-da!
It could be like Mystery Science.
game.
I'm going to do director's commentary for something I have nothing to do with.
Exactly.
Yeah, Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like I mean, I'm not saying you can't really do it, but I mean, it's not. You can't call it that and say that it's a game. Like you can't
Right.
say that. Oh, there's not really any gameplay elements because like. The only gameplay element in Firewatch, for example, is because you control. Like, it's a first-person perspective. You control the character, and you can walk around aimlessly if you really want to. There's no time constraints on anything, even though there's a fucking forest fire.
The forest fire that
Wait.
doesn't move.
Sorry, that was the
You
major
actually
spoiler.
watch fire in Firewatch? I feel like I didn't even think that actually happened in the game.
It happens, but it's not like
It's not threatening.
Oh, okay.
There's, like I said, there's no
It
time
happens-
constraints.
Oh,
in the
so it's a real
distance.
forest fire. Yeah, it works
and you're
exactly
just like,
that.
Yeah.
eh.
Yeah. If it burns, it burns.
just watching it.
Yeah, just
The game actually ends with like all of North America just completely charred,
And you're just
you
sitting
did
there.
such a bad job.
The last line of the game, I watched that fire.
no. I have to say though, that game that would actually probably be a better ending than the actual ending.
Oh,
The actual
might
ending
actually
is very
be.
lackluster. It's very vanilla.
Oh, okay. All right.
So-
Well,
But a lot of like they were trying to provide like character development and depth and stuff like that.
One thing though, with the whole experience and whatnot, that I've actually noticed with a lot of the newer technology that's coming out, with the whole VR technology that's becoming available, the experience that you can get out of playing a game is actually increasing. It was just one of those big things that I've seen that a lot of people kind of were a little iffy on the VR stuff when it first came out.
Yeah.
In the most recent stuff that I was able to experience, it was actually totally immersive and it was a lot of fun. So it's honestly one of those things that I think that's going to bring people back into playing the games themselves rather than just watching other people play.
right.
But the initial investment's going to be pretty heavy.
Yeah.
And
They were
people-
talking about it's just they're talking about like that, like for PlayStation, for example, just like
Oh,
a lot of
yeah.
people were talking about PC costs being heavy because obviously they've got the HTC Vive and Steam
And
and,
the
everything
Oculus,
like that,
yeah.
and an Oculus. But obviously going into with Sony, they announced like the 4.5. And they'll be doing their VR and stuff like that. Like the initial startup is going to be so expensive that we're not going to see that involvement for years. I think, unfortunately,
I actually don't think it's going to take that long. With the amount that
the genre has to explode in order for that to become
well,
that.
that's why
popular.
we're banking on the release of these new VR headsets and stuff. Right?
The only thing that worries me about that is honestly just because there's so many coming out at once. Like
Yeah,
the
that's
Oculus
true, yeah.
just hit.
Yeah,
When was the release date
Well-
for Sony's? That's September.
September,
Something like
Yeah.
that, yeah.
September,
The
October,
Vive
yeah.
came out recently.
half
as
the
well.
issue
Oh, it
here.
is? Okay.
Half the issue here, and it's kind of ironic because Nintendo's not really involved, but like
Well, we don't know
Nintendo,
yet.
but
We don't
Nintendo,
know
no.
yet.
Okay, this is true, but Nintendo is the reason why all this is happening at the same time because of the Wii. The Wii was a huge success, one of the biggest financial successes for a console ever.
I guess you could.
And then everyone were like everyone being Microsoft and Sony, and they're like, fuck. And we need to get into it. We need to make the move, and we need to make the connect. And they were like, I'm not saying that they were completely unsuccessful, but it was not as successful.
Yeah,
right?
you raise a good point.
So
actually,
that's why they're all in the arms race now. They're like, shit, we missed on it the first time. We have to get in on it now. And what's going to really happen is because it's not just a gaming standard, it's also for movies and other things like that. What's going to happen is it's going to become a media standard, which means that it'll be something like the old, like Betamax versus VCR or that's way too old. I'm sorry.
Blu-ray
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 versus DVD.
Yeah,
and
like
things
what's going to be the standard is what you're saying.
yeah, we're gonna it's gonna dwindle down to probably two things. Like one is gonna be PC based, and one's gonna be like home theater based, essentially entertainment system based.
The problem is the entry point's too expensive right now. Like
Currently,
Sony's the
It is.
cheapest, and that's still what, $600 plus the system.
Yeah.
It's gonna be I think for everybody, like starting from scratch, it's $1,000.
Hey,
It's $1,000 to get in.
couple of years ago, everyone was spending $200 on plastic instruments, though. So you never know, right?
Yeah, I guess, but at least we
true.
got like a couple years worth of use out of that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I want VR to be cool, but I feel like there's going to be this point where everyone's just going to realize all at once what's happening, kind of like what they did with the Wii, and be like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Do you think it's gonna impact the Let's Play genre a lot? Because like
People are-
it's just that whole how it shows, right?
Here's the thing. YouTube's already ready for VR.
Yeah.
Yeah, YouTube.
360
You could get
videos.
3D videos on YouTube.
3D and 360 videos.
And they're actually really cool.
No. Sorry, but I meant like in order for the audience member to properly immerse themselves into what you're
Well,
experiencing,
well,
it kind of implies that they should also have VR. Is that not
Sorta,
true?
yeah. Sorta.
It depends on the experience, really.
It's like because I'm saying like I'm just putting this out. Like it'd be like going to like a 3D movie, right? And then but you're not wearing the glasses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've
Like,
seen
it's-
some of the
it's just
3D
kind of-
stuff already because there's a lot of like Let's Players out there and
Yeah.
YouTubers who do have access to the 3D
Right.
headsets and whatnot. And I've seen some of their videos. You can experience it to a certain extent, but not as much as if you actually have the stuff
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, no, but I have seen like VR Let's Plays though, and they're interesting to watch. I just can't
Okay.
watch them because I get nauseous. But
Yeah,
like,
that too.
fair enough.
Yeah.
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 And sorry, we're just gonna take a quick break here. We're just gonna talk about our sponsor. This episode of the Otafest podcast is surprisingly sponsored by Otafest.
Liar.
Burn them at the stake. So Otafest is a non-profit society which hosts Southern Alberta's premier Japanese media and culture festival for the last 17 years and counting. Otafest annual conventions, we have one in summer and one in winter, feature a spectacular spectrum of activities, such as visiting the expanded artist alley and vendors in the TELUS Convention Center, watching your favorite anime shows in large theater spaces, fan culture via community-hosted panels. We have cosplay contests with cash prizing, as well as the competitive gaming has cash prizing. And you get to meet unique special guests, such as John, if you're listening through our podcast. But we have voice actors as well, and media personalities and performers from all over the world. This year we've got people from Germany and Sweden and Japan and America. Make America great again. I had to throw
And
that
then
in.
everyone,
just had
and then
to.
everyone
I just
closed the
absolutely
podcast.
Had to. Why did you do that?
Boycotted the podcast.
Yep. Goodbye, everybody. Good night. Otafest 2016 will be held at the TELUS Convention Center in downtown Calgary, Alberta, from July 1st to 3rd. Tickets are available online at otafest.com with early bird discounts ending June 20th. And again, those early bird discounts, originally you could get it at $50, but right now we're at $55. So the earlier you get it, the better the price is. You've already missed out once. Make sure you get in cheaper, basically.
Yeah. Speaking of Otafest, though,
Otafest.
And since we have John here, who is a Calgarian, you've attended Otafest like for a while now, haven't you?
Yeah, I actually have run a couple panels at Otafest.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I brought cosplay chess to Otafest.
Yes.
Oh,
I remember those
God,
days.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
I remember
Yeah,
those days, sir.
and then once Jenny realized how bad I was at running it, she took it away.
No, it wasn't that at all.
It was an interesting experience. It was just a little bit.
It was a bit chaotic because we tried doing.
It's always been chaotic.
The problem was
always
we
been,
tried
yeah.
doing signups before the convention,
Right.
Yeah.
and then not everyone showed up, and then people didn't know
and
there
that's
were
just,
signups.
that's people always.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Let's be
essentially herding cats
Yeah.
scenario.
Very much. And then I remember I think the first year we did it outside, because I remember the very first year we did it, we were inside in one of the rooms, and it
Yes.
went really good. The second year we did it, it was outside, and I brought like battle music for people because
Yes.
I had the pre-order list, or like people who got in early. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, I can do custom battle themes. It was so warm outside, it killed my iPod. So we were like, all right, song loading. Why isn't it loading?
Well, in all fairness,
Yeah.
Otafest gets two types of weather. It's either rain or like hot as hell.
Don't forget snow. We had snow a couple
snow
years.
last year.
Yeah.
Did we?
Yeah.
During May?
Yeah, dude.
Oh yeah, we totally did.
One of our guests,
Our special guest,
Yumi Akai.
yeah,
Yumi
she
Akai, she's from
literally,
Spain.
yeah, she's really cool. And she was wearing, I think, what was the?
She was wearing Lamau from Black Butler.
Okay, that was totally not the cosplay I was gonna say.
Yeah.
But the point, no, I didn't know. I thought it was a different one. I thought she was wearing like the Maya from Phoenix, right?
No, she wasn't.
Okay, I am wrong. Anyway, that's a surprise. So basically, she was like standing outside at one point. She like recreated the entire like sad girl in snow because she had a good time at the con apparently, but she was really sad that she had to go, and she just stood out there because she, Spain doesn't really see a lot of
it was
snow.
her
apparently.
first time
Yeah.
seeing snow in
Yeah,
her life.
yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
So
Yeah.
and she was like emotional, and she was literally like standing outside the green
crying
room
and-
and like crying. And
Oh my
sad
God.
girl in snow trope. That's the like. How many other cons can say that?
Otafest is an
Cross
actual
off the
anime, is what
Yeah.
he's saying.
Welcome to
Wait.
hell.
This is not the first time we've had a guest cry because
No.
they're leaving.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the last either.
Otafest.
No, but I mean that's like that's the trope.
That sounds like
That's
the
a sad
worst
girl.
threat. Like, if you
snow
come to
trope.
Otafest, you will cry.
Yeah.
You will feel feelings.
feel things.
Or maybe it can just be like, I will make you cry.
We have ways of making you cry.
That seems to be my MO recently.
Yeah, Alfred put it. Oh man, you were just.
Let's not talk about that video.
We already talked
again.
about it, but
Yeah.
like
Oh,
last episode. But you were public enemy number one.
Yeah, for a while. Anyways, so how long you been attending Otafest, John?
First year was 2006 because that would have been the first.
That's actually before most of us.
That's actually well, it's same year.
It's before
that's
me.
the same as my first year actually.
Yeah, I think
going, you mean?
like Alfred.
Going,
I know I met
okay.
you at Otafest.
Yeah, I did. I think we met at Cosplay Chess, and then later on we participated in like a video game trivia panel thing.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Which I sucked at.
That Beat the Geeks thing?
Yeah, the Beat the Geeks thing. Yeah, that was it. I was the video game geek, and I didn't do a very good job.
I remember.
Wow.
The best part was everyone in the panel kept picking the video game geek because that's the only trivia they knew. Period.
And, like, because there was like Studio Ghibli, I think was the category. There was
Okay.
like anime, and like the video game one, it was just like I was totally unprepared.
That's funny.
So
And then like people in the audience were like, "I've got a good one."
What is the name of Nintendo's flagship character?
No. It was
Sonic.
in Yu-Gi-Oh! Eternalist Hearts Duel for the Game Boy Advance. What's the cheat code you type in to unlock the first head part of Exodia?
yeah, it was something like that. It was just really stupid. But,
Holy
like,
hell.
Yeah. Everyone was
That's
like,
not really-
everyone was like, get out of this room.
Yeah, that's not really like like you have to work with the audience, right? Like
Yeah.
you can't be like, yeah. So how many pixels?
No, it was still, don't get me wrong though. Don't get me wrong. It was still a very fun panel. And,
How many pixels
Yeah.
is Mario composed of?
Was that the year that you got shot in the face with a Nerf gun? Or
No,
If
that
it
was
that was probably one of the years that it was the beginning of the end of Nerf guns showing up there.
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah,
No, I
probably.
think that was actually the year that I don't know if that was the year I got glomped and landed on a small kid.
God! I remember
Yes,
that.
I
Yeah, because
remember
there was
that
like
as well.
the first or second year that either I forget.
That was
what
the outdoor. That was at outdoor.
Yeah, that was
cosplay
either
fest.
Ryan that was running it, or I think that was the last year Izzy ran it.
Mm-hmm.
I used to cosplay as Dante from Devil May Cry,
Yeah,
and
that old costume. Yeah.
and someone had snuck a gaunt me sign rather on the back of my coat, and it was a
no.
heavy pleather coat,
Oh,
so I didn't
no.
realize it had happened.
Yeah.
So we were all standing in position on the chessboard, and I was sick too. I was like
Holy
medicated, and then suddenly I hear running. I look over. This girl has jumped at me, tackles me
Was she
from
a cute
midair.
girl.
I wouldn't have dated her.
She was a girl.
She was a girl. I don't know who it is. I definitely would have dated her after she tackled me and made me fall on this small kid who was cosplaying like
Oh yeah, that's
like
love
an
at first
Avatar
sight,
character.
first
Oh,
glomp.
no.
Oh yeah.
You know what the best part is? Like because of that, like the whole Nerf gun thing and the glomping thing, you're technically involved in two of like you're the direct reason why we have two like rules. Essentially.
So I'm the reason.
No glomping?
I'm the
Like,
reason
yeah,
no one
two
can
bosses.
have fun, is what you're telling me.
Yeah,
Actually,
like,
no.
no,
It's
yeah, yeah,
because of what
exactly.
people have done
Clearly.
to you.
Yeah, you got shot in the face with a Nerf gun. You got glomps.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, you're not so much the cause
You're the
as
victim.
you're
Wait,
the.
I don't remember. Wait, I don't
We should
remember
thank him.
getting
Yeah,
shot
we
in
should
the
thank
nerve.
him.
When did
should
I get
thank
shot
him.
in the face? I don't remember that one.
That was
Well, that was the thing, though. You
that
got
was
shot in the face, so you
RPG
tend to
battle.
forget these
I think that was
things.
RPG battle.
Yeah.
Our RPG battle. I was the one who brought the Nerf guns. I remember that.
okay, never mind.
Never mind.
But,
in that
but
case,
I never shot
you're-
anyone in the face.
You're
I
the
remember
cause
that.
of one of them.
I never shot
and
anyone in
you're
the face.
reason
I
for
remember
the
that.
other.
I specifically avoided the face.
Okay, all right.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. I
Yeah,
remember.
because it was the Nerf guns with your Dante costume. I remember that. Right?
Yeah, and then like I got the actual like Ebony Ivy
That's some
replicas.
hardcore cosplay right there.
Yo, man,
Nerf
I
gun
try to get
commando.
away with what I can, I guess.
yeah. Okay, let's get back to Let's Plays though. So John, you have a Let's Play channel just on your own, and you have
YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah.
You have a Twitch. So do you want to plug those real quick?
YouTube.com/ProtonJonSA,
Okay.
Twitch.tv/ProtonJon, and I also have my group channel, The Runaway Guys. So YouTube.com/The Runaway Guys.
And once again, Runaway Guys is with Tucker Conroy and Capri Sun.
Yeah.
Right? Okay,
Yeah.
Awesome. So in terms of Let's Playing though, like how long have you been doing this? Like we talked about a bit about Kaizo. That was around like 2008. right?
Yeah, I think I officially started in 2007. That sounds right.
So it's you're coming up on your 10-year anniversary next year.
Oh God.
Yeah. No, but I mean that's amazing. Like
You've been playing
like
video games for a living for 10 years.
I've been saying like because that's your main source of like income.
Yeah, that like my
Yeah.
my YouTube and Twitch is my job.
Exactly. And like people, a lot of people, like I can say that like Alfred and I and G, have you dabbled a little bit in streaming?
I've messed around here and there. Yeah.
But I mean, like it takes something to be like as consistent and as like dedicated as you have been. Like, cause it's one thing to be like, oh yeah, like, you know, I'll you know, fire up my casting.
It's
and all
very
that stuff
easy
like
to
that.
say, hey, I can play games for a living
Yeah.
too.
I
It's
can
a
also-
totally
I also have
different
words.
thing.
Yeah.
It's a total different thing when you're trying to actually produce content.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something I've learned as well. Right.
Yeah.
It's like you just a lot of stuff can go wrong, and like they can throw like
Oh my God.
like an hour's worth of gameplay.
Everything will go wrong.
Yeah, like
Everything.
I'm sure that you have like all the bad stories to go along with, you know, like every presentation that you've ever had to do.
Man.
But it's just that you've got.
Okay, I actually have an Otafest related story for this too.
Ooh.
All right, so I think the first year I ever went to Otafest Light, I think this might have been the second.
2008, probably.
2008, 2009 was the Fest Light.
Yeah.
Okay, so probably would have been 2010, 2011.
Okay.
Maybe it was. I think it was going for a couple of years. But it was the first one I went to.
Right.
I ran a panel called Video Game Showdown.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so this was like a
remember
small
the name
thing
of
I
the
did.
panel.
Yeah, originally I was supposed to run it at Otafest Prime, but I got sick when it was supposed to happen, which sucked because I got put in the main theater, and then I had to be like last minute. I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah, I'm a bad person.
Yeah, so basically I was just like, I'm not going to apply for another panel for a while because I felt like I'd be in trouble. But I did it at Light, and it went really good. We had a room of maybe 60 people. It went fine.
That's good.
And we had my buddies Chugga Conroy and Nintendo Capri Sun with me. And Chugga was like, hey, I got asked to do a panel at PAX East. How about we do this game at PAX East?
Lord.
And keep in mind, this was a room of 60 people, so I'm like, I guess. But I mean, this is the first time I've run it, so I can't guarantee it's going to go smooth.
Yeah.
So at the time, we'd use emulators for it just so I didn't have to bring as much stuff, but we still had a table full of stuff, so it was all like one run of it. And then we went to PAX East, and they didn't have the parts we needed to hook up to the projector.
Oh crap.
Oh no.
The amount of people that showed up was about 800.
Oh my god.
That's pants shitting territory.
We started a half hour late because we were trying to figure out what to do, and we ran everything on one computer, which was like this old Windows XP laptop that I was running that for some reason is still running to this day. And then we had like this Nick Arcade style setup where like two teams of 4 went against each other. They moved around a board, and that's what dictated what event happened. We ran out of time because we started so late, so I was like, all right, let's jump to the final event. The final countdown starts playing. It starts like building up all this music. I'm like, we're going to play Pong. And then as we switch over to Pong, the computer crashes.
Oh no.
We have to wait for the computer to reboot before we can even do the end.
Yeah.
I jokingly say, all right, we'll be starting a donation fund for my new computer as a joke. And then people actually start walking up and handing me money.
Never say that Americans are not generous.
I think I left the room with like $70-something.
Sure.
Yeah, and I donated it to charity because I'm like, I feel really
of course,
weird having this.
But I guarantee you that like your panel probably made more money than any other panel. I mean, I'm not saying that $70 is a lot, but I mean, like, you know, as panelists, you usually don't get paid unless you're a guest, a specific guest of some kind. So, but I mean, that's very good, actually.
Yeah, I sat there. I'm like, I'm never doing a panel again.
Yeah.
And then like Emil's like, that could have gone better, but we can fix it. So he wanted to do it again for PAX Prime.
Yeah.
Which was like 3 months later. So like or 4 months, I guess. So then I completely revamped it, and once again ran it at Otafest.
Yeah.
Revamped and worked
We're
fine.
the testing ground.
Yeah,
Like pretty much.
Otafest is like what saves my skin, basically. So.
Yeah.
So it worked fine there, and then like now it's the current version.
No, Otafest is a lie. We just we make you think that it can run well. You're like,
Otafest is the false sense of security, and then the real thing happens.
It's true,
like,
though, because I
we're
mean,
the false
stuff
positive.
runs a lot better whenever you try to run it at Otafest.
it's also like a half hour away from where I live, so I can just be like, all right, I forgot something. Hang on, let me drive home. If I forget something when I'm in like Seattle or Boston, I'm like, all right, where's a Radio Shack?
Radio. Oh, does Radio Shack still exist?
Oh yeah, it still exists in
Yeah.
the States, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of stuff going wrong and like the whole process though, like John, you want to walk us through like what goes into making a Let's Play? What's your average like process, I guess?
Rage and tears, really.
Okay, right.
You pick a game you want to play, or
2 parts rage.
Yeah,
2 part tears.
it's like a perfect mix. It makes the perfect cake. Yeah, you just like you pick a game basically, and like you want to pick something you're good at, unless you want to go for like the blind aspect, or you want to hit what's hot right
Or
now.
you want to play Superman 64.
Yeah, that was a bet.
You got so good at that game.
I am so worried about how good I got at that. I still have to finish that. That project is
Does that
like,
make you like a shitlord, essentially?
yes, it does.
You
Unfortunately,
fly through those rings
I have
crazy well.
I have learned that I am exceptionally skilled at terrible games. So there was a contest at PAX Prime one year where it was just like beat ET for the Atari, and
Jesus.
I was the only one who knew how to do it. And then I lost because I taught someone else how to do it, and then they just spent the rest of the day doing it.
Christ.
So what you learned is don't teach people.
Yes, what I've learned is don't be
But yeah,
nice.
like,
But really, that person spent the whole day playing ET for the 2600. Did they really win in the end?
I mean,
It's kind of true.
they won a medal. I guess that's something.
Yeah.
And
was it worth it?
What you have is the knowledge.
I
Like,
get
you have
yeah.
the innate knowledge and just the ability. It's a talent, really.
Is it?
It's a talent. To
I
be
guess-
good.
Tell me,
I guess
I'm not going there.
I guess
You're
I
not
figured out a
baiting
way
me.
to market it. So technically,
Yes. Yeah. There you go.
So pick a game you like.
yeah, it depends. Like I find it better to pick a game you like because usually it's a game you're comfortable with and you know
sure.
you can talk while you're playing it.
Yeah.
So then
Oh
like it
yeah,
just.
like I guess you can't do that with DDR or something like that, right?
I
Like,
mean,
too much
people have
concentration.
done that. There are
Actually-
DDR Let's Plays.
Oh, that's impressive.
Yeah.
But
I think
yeah,
there are
sorry.
even like DDR tutorials actually that are just like doing max 300 and be like, all right, so you need to make sure you're ready for the triple at this point.
Yeah, I would not be surprised.
Oh, that
'Cause
would have helped, man.
back in the day, I
Yeah.
remember being able to go DDR for the full day, just playing songs back to back to back to back. And people who are in that kind of shape, I can fully understand how they could be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to play this song and I'm going to talk about what I'm thinking while I'm going through it.
Yeah.
And here's what you should be expecting. Here's the type of stamina you need for this. And
That just
Do
makes me
you-
feel really old because just
Yeah.
coming back from SoccerCon, I hurt my knee playing DDR.
Oh man.
Like I actually like sprained my knee playing SoccerCon, and I spent like the next day walking around Seattle like hobbling.
behind the scenes, John, do you ditch games often? Like you're like you do it. Do you do test runs? I guess, and then you're like,
Yeah.
I just can't do this game.
There's a couple games I've tried and it's just been like, I can't think of something funny to say about this. The commentary doesn't feel like it's flowing.
This game is too bad for me.
It's actually not been a case of a game being too bad. Ironically, sometimes it's when a game is too good.
Wow, you really are a shit lawyer.
Yeah, I know. No, but no. Now think about it this way. Think about it this way. The games that give you crap
Yeah.
are usually the easiest ones to talk about. Because like if something dumb is happening on screen, you're gonna be like, oh man, I can't believe this is happening. Why this is happening? Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, yeah.
If a game is working completely as intended,
It's
you're
so
like,
flawless.
yeah. Like one of my favorite things I did on stream was Mario 3 won a vote for what game we're gonna play next.
Sure.
But when I loaded it into my NES, I accidentally kicked it. And the cartridge glitched.
Shifted.
The
Yeah.
cartridge glitched. So I was a cartridge tilt playthrough of Mario 3 where like half the platforms were invisible. So I had to remember how to play the game from memory and like I beat the
That's
game
good.
that way. So it would like just stuff like that is more interesting than if I just played a vanilla
Right.
playthrough of Mario
Yeah,
3 by
yeah,
myself.
Yeah.
yeah, because if you just played regular Mario 3, it would have been like, well, it's not too difficult. Everything would have been pretty standard fare. I mean, Mario 3 is a pretty solid game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like we've kind of seen it done it like a million times. Right?
Exactly.
So, yeah. So I guess it's not just like like a game that you're comfortable with. It has to be a game that like can stand on its own in like maybe the worst possible way.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, and it also depends on how you want to do things too. You can do like live commentary, which is the common thing,
Right.
and then there's post commentary where you literally just record the game footage and then you come
And
up
then-
with what to say after.
And then you talk over it, which is kind of what Donkey does, right?
Donkey does that all the time.
Yeah. So, okay. In terms of like software and like hardware and trying to get started doing Let's Plays, though, what would you recommend?
There's for audio recording, it's easy. There's a free program called Audacity, which
Okay,
works pretty
yeah.
good.
Hey, we're using that right now to record the podcast.
Nice.
Yeah.
Video recording, there are free options out there, but that's if you're like doing PC gaming or if you're doing like emulators, stuff like that.
Yep.
If you're doing real consoles like Xbox, et cetera,
Yeah, you're gonna need a capture card.
yeah, and capture cards can vary in price from about $50 to I think the higher ends are $200 something
Yeah.
now.
Don't buy the $50 ones.
No,
I've had that experience.
$50 ones are only good for like retro consoles,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, because they're all standard def and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, in terms of like getting YouTube numbers and stuff, though, like, no, that's what do you think?
There's no such thing as getting the numbers unless you're actively cheating. Is the
What's
best way
your
to do it.
secrets?
Yeah, no, you have 2 million views on one video though. Like, how,
Yeah.
like that's well. Then again, that was just you
But
getting-
that is a 10-year-old video.
yeah,
yeah.
Plus, you were getting pissed off in it. And
Yeah,
in a
that's the
very
thing.
comical way.
Rage
Yeah.
will always get views. There is no denying that.
Yes.
The more you look like a man child, the more you will get views.
Do you prefer?
That probably explains PewDiePie.
Yeah. Do
So-
you prefer YouTube versus Twitch, or
Th-
Twitch
they're-
over YouTube? Like, there's unique pros and cons about both.
Yeah.
Obviously,
The best way I break down YouTube versus Twitch is: do you like prepared content versus off the cuff content? Twitch is basically the equivalent of improv,
Yeah.
but just going and just going.
yeah, like a lot of people can be made to look a lot better when there's editing involved. Essentially,
Yeah, and I mean, also the amount of work is like night and day too for Twitch and YouTube. Like YouTube will always have more work if you're going heavy into editing. I like editing in stupid things like pop-ups, like other characters doing stuff like that, because I find that interesting and I enjoy editing at times. But sometimes you just want to be like, I just want to play a game and talk.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
So-
but it's, to be entertaining at the same time is kind of difficult, right? And I guess that's why that's kind of the new standard for Let's Plays is just streaming and talking over like Markiplier streaming and does PewDiePie stream?
Probably.
I'm not sure if he does.
I'm pretty
I think
sure
he might have only done it for charity.
Yeah,
so
I think
far.
Markiplier streams though, right?
Markiplier definitely does.
Yeah, and like just those,
Isn't it just for charity streams though?
Mark usually does charity stuff. I don't know. I've seen the area he records in, and I think he mostly just does videos.
Oh,
Because
okay, right.
like his work routine is insane.
No,
I've heard he just like shows up at the recording area,
he
just
just goes?
records for like 8-12 hours somewhere in that
Holy
range.
crap.
Well,
and
there
then
are always
leaves.
people in there.
Yeah,
usually
no,
who
because
are, like-
He is a workaholic.
yeah, but he did Five Nights at Freddy's on Twitch though, didn't he? Or
Possibly.
I think that was like a stream.
It might have been for a charity
It might have
stream.
been for
I
a
know.
charity, right.
I
I'm
know
sure
he
he's done
does
like
it
some
for
regular
charity
streams, but Mark is really into charity from what
Oh,
I've
okay,
seen.
all right.
No, that's great though.
Yeah, and I guess that's like the awesome side of the Let's Play thing, right? It's like this has gotten so big now that you can do charity streams, right?
Yeah, charity streams are like the straight up communities like grow around this, and just a lot
like-
of stuff
like
happens.
24-hour streams. Have you done a 24-hour stream?
Sort of. A bunch of friends wanted to do one.
I was like, it's either 24 hours or it's not.
Well, here's the thing. It was 24-hour stream, but I wasn't there for 24 hours.
Oh,
so what
okay,
happened
right.
was Chinook Crafts. They're
Ah,
vendors
yeah.
at
Oh
Otafest.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, so a bunch of my friends want to do a fundraiser for them because their laser cutter
right,
broke.
yes.
Yeah, it burned down. Yeah.
Yeah, so I offer like, hey, I'll offer it on my YouTube channel. I'll hang out, or my Twitch channel rather. I'll hang out and like get my audience going with it and just like have fun with you guys.
Sure.
But like at the end of the day, I was sick. This is a recurring trend apparently.
Yeah.
And I went to go get sleep at some point. But I was like, all right, if we reach our goal, I'll play through all of Kaizo on stream. And sure enough, when I woke up and got there the next day, they had reached their goal. So
And
I
he
had
said,
to
I
play
hate
through.
life.
Yeah, basically. I'm like, fuck, my plan worked. How could? Why would my tactical plan actually work?
This is not
And
how
you
it
actually did really well with that run
I am.
too.
Well, I got stuck on one stage, but everything else went surprisingly fast.
Yeah.
Okay. So can you actually like speedrun Kaizo now?
No, God, not to the level that Dram can. Dram can
Yeah,
actually get
yeah.
through that game without
Yeah.
dying.
we
which
know
is
quite a
frightening.
we know a couple of guys that are pretty big into speedrunning, of course. But like, are you like Slurpee Ninjas?
Yeah, Dave is
Dave, yeah.
super.
He's another
He's been on
Calgary guy,
AGDQ
but-
a bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was just he did
Yo, life
mostly
goals.
Mega Man.
We achieved the life goal. We just got our names.
Yeah. I got our donations right on AGDQ.
Yeah, exactly. life goal.
Life goal.
Because we're not good enough to actually be there by
Oh,
any
I know.
means.
Yeah. Speedrunning is scary. Just the amount of
It's a whole other beast. Though.
Yeah,
it's not
my,
really.
My issue with speedrunning for me is you have to focus on just one game or whatever game you want to learn.
Exactly,
And I can't stand playing the same game for that long.
Yeah.
Honestly, kudos to people who can do that.
You got pretty damn good at Super Mario World though.
I got really good at Super Mario World. I got really good at
Wait,
Ninja
wait.
Gaiden.
Speedrunning Super Mario World?
Um,
Glitch or no glitch or what?
no glitch.
You raced you did a race for Super Mario World at one point. I remember that's one of your older videos. Didn't you? For
no.
Kaizo? It might have been for Kaizo. A Kaizo race.
Oh yeah, you're right. We raced the last stage of Kaizo.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've also raced
that,
Battletoads
that was
as
a
well.
little bit different, but I mean,
I raced-
for like
Yeah.
for Super Mario World, like vanilla, do you have like a time?
I don't have a time because there's a bunch of friends I hang out with on Sundays.
Yeah,
They actually used to race Mario World a bunch.
I know who that group is.
Yeah, I was gonna
Joss.
say yeah. I thought you knew Joss and everyone.
Yeah.
I was keeping up with them up until about Castle 5 because I don't know how to fly.
Oh, they're-
I don't know how to fly through the castle,
Right,
Oh,
and that's
right,
that's
right.
an important trick if you're doing like no Star Road.
Yeah, exactly.
So like I was keeping up with them more or less at that point, and then just like they shot ahead.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible stuff though. Like,
I think they ended when I just got to Wendy,
Yeah.
basically. So
Guess we'll just wrap up like one more point though. Okay, so we were kind of talking about like negative effects of like the industry on their influence on Let's Plays, but like what about positive stuff? Like do you have connections with industry at all?
We have done on the Runaway Guys. We've done a video for Nintendo to promote New Super Mario Brothers 2.
Wow.
That's pretty legit.
Yeah,
that was
that's
actually
awesome.
really cool. Like they retweeted us on their
Nintendo's
awesome.
really they're really good with their community outreach.
They're
stuff.
weird, actually. Nintendo is weird because they'll do some stuff. Like they've got a lot of prominent YouTubers that they'll do stuff with, and it'll be great.
Sure.
But their setup on YouTube, they'll actually like do copyright claims on even like their own partners,
I've heard
and that's
that,
a bit of a gray area there as it is.
Yeah.
But it's like sometimes their experience on YouTube is like ahead of the curve, and then sometimes it's way behind.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Interesting. But like, I don't know. I think we're getting to a point now where like Let's Plays can actually sell games or advertise games, right?
Going back to Nintendo again, they actually did their own Let's Play for Xenoblade Chronicles when that was coming out.
Really?
Yeah, they did their own series to like for the first 10 parts of it or something like that.
That's actually really unique.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no reason not to, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's definitely something that other companies in general could look into, just because think of it as an extended trailer, essentially.
Yeah, pretty
for
much.
them, right?
I mean, like when PewDiePie did like Undertale, right? I'm pretty sure like Undertale.
Exactly.
Undertale was already shooting off as it was,
No,
and then
but,
I
then,
just
but then PewDiePie like
Yeah.
did
PewDiePie, Game
that was like
Grumps,
stratosphere
Game Grumps,
there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
all about hitting the market, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Get somebody big like that to do one of your games, and
But
all of a
you
sudden
usually
exposes it to everybody.
Yeah, but you usually settle, like John usually settles in the, you're more in like, not always retro, but like, you're not necessarily always like the newest game
No.
or like the undiscovered, but
I
like there's
think-
rumors that it's a good game.
Yeah,
Kind of.
I like games that are like hidden gems. I like games that I grew up with.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
newest game I've done was
it
Triforce
Triforce
Heroes.
Heroes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was like a couple months after it came out. And then like the next most recent was like Resident Evil 5 on the Xbox 360.
Punching rocks.
Dude, that's the best part.
Yeah.
Boulder punching is the best sport.
Resident Evil's amazing.
I love Resident Evil.
What has become isn't amazing, but
Yeah, there's always the
Debatable,
moment where he
but-
punched the boulder. We'll never forget the boulder.
no, the boulder punch is pretty
And throwing eggs.
And throwing eggs.
Never forget.
And hitting Wesker with a stun rod.
So good.
I still don't know how you pulled that off.
I'm amazing.
So I guess this last question, a bit cliche, but like when you were first starting out with Let's Playing, did you imagine like the culture that would grow around it to the point where
The support, basically.
support as well?
Hell no.
Yeah.
When I started Let's Play, it was in the game sub forum of Something Awful. It was before it even got its own forum part.
Yeah.
And there were maybe 30 people doing it.
Crazy.
So we were just like, it was basically just as the Something Awful term would be, a huge circle jerk. And and then that's what they would call it. It was
Absolutely.
a loving term.
As expected from a website called
very
Something Awful.
Yeah. And then like we just kept doing it, and then it like slowly leaked onto YouTube, and then it just kind of spread everywhere.
Yeah,
So
and
like
now it's
having watched it from the last, as you pointed out, decade.
yeah.
And I roll my eyes at that. It's crazy what it's become.
Yeah, no, like it's like an integral part of gaming culture now. which
Yeah,
is the crazy
it like
thing.
no one made money off of it for years, and now you hear like stories.
But a
like
lot of the
millionaires.
time,
Yeah,
like,
PewDiePie
it's not
making
always
this, yeah.
like, I mean, obviously, yeah, there are the like, you know, the big names or whatever, but it's not always about making money. Like, yeah, you
No, well,
it's really about, like, it's a labor of love, right?
It never
Yeah.
starts out making money. Like I'm guessing there's a ton of people trying to get into it now, trying to make money. But like, I mean, it's not something that
for
you
some people it's
yeah.
like, you know, attention. Some people it's money.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is really just like, this is what I want to do, or
Yeah.
this is what I
I
want to
like
get
I
into.
like video games. I like talking over video games.
Yeah.
and I just
Yeah.
like
So
playing
I
them,
hope you
right?
do too.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. So
I hate it. This is what I'm saying.
We can tell.
bit jaded. And
This was actually my cry for help that coming on this
okay.
podcast.
no, that's what happens when you're an OG. You know.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Okay.
Terrible.
So one more time, plug in your stuff.
Sure. YouTube.com/ProtonJonSA, Twitch.tv/ProtonJon, and YouTube.com/TheRunawayGuys.
Okay. And do you post on Twitter a lot?
Yeah, no, I'm on Twitter a fair amount.
That tweet life.
Proton_John, because I couldn't
Wow.
get my own username.
Oh
Wow.
Yeah, that's how it
That's
works.
sad.
I
couldn't-
bet JonTron has his own.
You're right, and I hate it.
I'll kill him.
We couldn't get JonTron, so we settled.
Well,
hate you all.
Yeah, that's.
We hope that you've enjoyed listening to the last episode of the Otafest podcast.
he was the most internet famous person we could get for this episode.
Isn't every episode of the podcast the last episode we're doing?
It's always the last until it's the
Until the next
Not
one.
the last, until we somehow scrounge together enough support to get.
But
like, another episode.
we'd be glad to have you on again, John, at the last episode, whether it's this one or who knows when.
Whatever the next last episode
All
is.
right.
Yeah. So
I'll be back tomorrow. I'll see.
Sounds good.
So we hope you had a good time, John.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, awesome.
Again, this is Otafest Podcast number 5. I'm Jay, signing off.
I am Alfred signing off.
This is G. Peace out.
Hey, this is John. I don't know how to get home from here.
All right, bye guys.
Take care.